Hey everyone, thanks for joining. It's Andrew from IDB. We are going to take a look at the best jailbreak tweaks for the music app in iOS 10, starting off with ColorFlow 3. ColorFlow 3 is an easy way to basically skin the look of your music or Spotify app based on the album art of whatever is playing. And it works not only in the app itself, but as well as on the lock screen, which is a really nice little feature. So we can walk through a few different examples of this, but you'll start to get the idea pretty quickly. We have the Mighty Quinn here playing. It's got some blue tints in there. It pulls that blue into the background of the music app, as well as here on the lock screen. The lock screen looks very nice and clean. Overall, it just works really, really well. I was very impressed with how it did. Same thing with My Church playing here, which is definitely tinted more red. Here with David Bowie, again, a little more blue, and of course, Fox on the Run. There are a few different settings that you can kind of tinker with here if you want to really get technical. So inside of the settings application, you do have an option for ColorFlow 3, and there are three different sections here. So first we have music. We want to work inside the music app itself, so you can turn that on and off, as well as the lock screen. So do you want to have it show up on the lock screen, and do you want to remove the shadow on the lock screen, and do you want it to work with Spotify? So you have three different options you can kind of tinker with there. It's available for $1.99 inside of Cydia. Moving on, we have Don't Stop the Party. There are two different versions of Don't Stop the Party. There's the paid version and the free version. The free version only works with the music app. However, the paid version will work with any other app. So any of your third-party music apps it'll work with, and it is available for $2 if you want that paid version. So what does it do? It lets you keep playing your music while you respring your device. So you can see I've got Mighty Quinn playing here. I'm going to use my Spring-to-Mize tweak to invoke a respring, and when it comes back on, the music is still playing. So you no longer have to stop your music, or the music will no longer stop when your device has to respring. Spin 10 we've looked at before in the past, and it's a nice little tweak that changes the look of the music playing on your lock screen. So as kind of a refresher, this is what it looks like stock. So we have Mighty Quinn playing again. We're going to go ahead and pause that and jump into the settings and look at a few of the things that we can kind of change in here. First off, we're obviously going to enable it. We can then look at custom locations and stuff for the spinner itself. What buttons do we want to show and hide? So we can hide the play pause button if we'd like. We can also change the labels. Do we want to see the artist label on there? Do we want to see the track label and the title? All of those things are things we can turn on and off. Do we want to hide them, or do we want to maybe change the color of them? So we can change the color of those specifically. I do leave those just how they are though, because it's more cool to use those dynamic colors inside of extras. Similar to what we saw with ColorFlow 3, this dynamic label color will actually take the colors from the album art and use that to pick the colors of the labels themselves. So let's go ahead and do a quick respring, and you can see what it looks like when you're playing music on your lock screen. Again, we're playing Mighty Quinn. You can see it's pulled some of that yellow out to make the spinner really nice and easy to control going around that wheel. You have easy controls again on the bottom, which may be easier to reach when you have your thumb on there, which you can scrub moving around the outside. So if you have a newer device and you do have that Taptic engine inside, then you might want to take a look at our next tweak, which is called Harp. Harp does its best to bring some tactile feedback to the music app itself. So basically, when you're in the music app and you're doing things like playing or pausing, skipping songs, it'll give you some taptic feedback as you're doing that. So really not necessary in any way, but if you do like that taptic engine that iOS and the iPhone 7 bring, this is definitely something to check out. Inside of settings, you can enable or disable for certain areas, like for media controls, the volume bar, or the audio scrubber. And there are a few kind of extra beta type ones that you can try, like a different adaptive volume feedback, which is kind of neat. So the higher volume, the more feedback you may be getting. But again, you don't want to use those kind of at the same time, because they can get a little bit funky when you're trying to do them both at the same time. But either way, not a lot to see on video, but as you use the controls, you will feel some taptic feedback. Luckily enough, it is absolutely free, so go ahead and try it if you want to. Moving on to our next option is I See Stars. And this is the iOS 10 version, so I See Stars 3 in particular. But it does what it sounds like. It adds stars and even the like it, love it ratings to any list in the music app. There is a thing in settings, but it doesn't really do anything other than give some credit to the creators that brought this tweak out. You can see along the left-hand side, you can see some stars and some hearts based on the ratings I've given songs, as well as if I loved them or disliked them. So you can see this song is loved, there is a little heart inside here, and when you look at it on the list view, it has that heart along that left-hand side. And obviously the more stars that you give something, the more stars that show up next to it. And it doesn't work just inside of playlists, it works in any list view inside of the music app. So if I'm looking at an album in particular, so I'm looking at this Beatles album, I'm going to go ahead and choose Penny Lane. There was nothing next to it. Open up, hit love, go back out of the now playing screen, and you'll see on the left of Penny Lane, there is now a heart signifying that I love this song. Moving on, we now have Acapella 3, another one that we've looked at in the past. This brings some really nice gestures and controls to the music when it's playing on your lock screen or even inside a control center. So I do have the Mighty Quinn playing. I can swipe left and swipe right. If I swipe all the way enough, it'll actually go back a song. Swiping right, if I had a second song in this playlist here, it would go to the next song. But you can swipe left and right. You can tap on the song to actually play. Tap it again to pause if you'd like. And while we are currently hanging out inside of the control center, it also works on the lock screen as well. So I can go ahead and close that. We have the song playing, shows up on the lock screen. I can swipe to the sides to control it, but it only works not on the main body but on the title itself, so I can swipe left and right to control, as well as tapping it to play and pause. If we go into the settings app, you do have a few different options for the control center, lock screen, inside the music apps themselves. You can customize exactly what gestures you want based on where you are. So inside of Control Center, do you want that volume decrease and increase, tapping on the left and tapping on the right? Do you want to tap the center to play? You can choose all of those, both for any of those different spots, the now playing, the music player, lock screen, and Control Center itself. So that is Acapella 3, a really, really nicely done tweak. So if you use music a lot on your phone, definitely check that one out. Moving on, we have MusicMark, which is another free tweak. It is really cool, but a very, very simple thing. Basically, it fixes one little problem, and that is when you go back into your music app, it may not pick up exactly where you were last time. So here we have Penny Lane. We're at this minute 23, minute 33 mark. We're going to completely quit it. Normally, when you pull it back up, it kind of go back to the beginning or go at the beginning of the music app. But now, when I go back to Penny Lane, it picks up exactly where I was the last time that I left off. So just keep on rolling. We now have NoClose, which is kind of what it sounds like. It prevents you from closing anything that is currently playing audio. So obviously the biggest choice for that is going to be the music app. So I jump into the music app, I go back to playing Penny Lane, I go into my app switcher, and I'm going to try to quit that app. I'm just going to try to swipe it up there. And when I do, I get this alert saying, hey, that's currently playing music. Do you want to keep playing? That's literally all it does, preventing you from closing something that you're currently listening to. Last up on our list, another one of my absolute favorites, which is NotifyMusic. It is available for free inside of Cydia, and it does what it sounds like. It'll notify you about your music. So just like that, as a song changes, a little notification banner will come down from the top, letting you know what song you're currently listening to, and optionally, the album that it's on. You don't really have many controls to go along with it. It's really, really simple. But again, it is pretty useful if you like to see, as you're going through something, just coming down on the top, letting you know that the song has changed, what that song is, so you don't have to wipe up and open up Control Center to get those details. It doesn't actually give you a notification, so you don't have to fill up Notification Center with all these banner alerts. It really is just that notification as the song changes. So that is it. That rounds up our list of the best music tweaks for iOS 10. So let us know what your favorites are down in the comments below. Please subscribe for more great videos, and until next time, this is Andrew for IDB.